Un aplauso bien bonito para Lana Parrilla.
¡Hola, Puerto Rico! Thank you so much for coming. Are you having a great weekend? I'm having the best time. Thank you.
We're all anxious to talk to you. So
Okay.
I promise I was only going to ask you a couple of questions and then
course.
open it up to the floor.
Of course.
So has this time been a different sort of visit to Puerto Rico? How have we been treating you? Because I've seen you on social media, so how happy are you to be here?
I'm so happy. I'm sorry I'm late. I was eating arroz con gandules y leche. Soy puertorriqueña from the waist down. I'm having the best time. I love it here. There was a mofongo emergency. I had to eat everything I grew up with, so.
I know you've been doing obviously, but what has made the fans from Puerto Rico a special sort of homecoming for you being here for this?
The pasión, the love, the smiles, the energy. I love you too. I really do. You're all so special. And I realize why. It's because of familia. There's like, that's right. And Latinos are very family oriented. And I feel that love, that family love, that unity.
So let me ask you this.
So it's a lot of that. It's all of that.
And we're gonna get to feel it too, because one more question, guys, and then get ready, okay? You've been on before Once Upon a Time. You've been on shows. You've been on 24. You've been on shows that have hit Lost and all that sort of stuff. But I wanted to ask you, when you were working on Once Upon a Time before it came out, did you have an inkling of how special and what it was going to become? So I wanted to know before it actually aired, so if you could take me back to that moment.
Of course. So when I read the script, I thought this was very unique, very special. That means it's not going to last. Because usually when you have these really high concept shows or shows that are very unique and different, sometimes they don't last on television. They get canceled, like Swingtown. Swingtown was a very unique show. It was and I wish it would have been more successful and had 2 or 3, 4, 5 seasons. But if it did, I wouldn't be here doing Once Upon a Time. So everything happens for a reason. But when I read Once Upon a Time, I had never read anything like it, and when I saw the pilot episode, that's when I realized we had something really special.
Yes.
It was unlike anything I'd ever seen, and what's so special about it is that these are stories that we all grew up with. They are characters that we have idolized, we've looked up to, we've admired, we dress up as them, we read these stories to our children, they've been read to us. So there's so many things about Once Upon a Time that make it relatable for an audience. And then, the great thing about it is they're not just caricatures, they are human people, real people. And that's what made them so relatable. And that's what was really unique about our show.
Obviously, turning the tables on an archetype is sort of what Disney is doing now on screen, but when you were presented with the Queen, Regina, was that daunting? Sort of taking that archetype and trying
Well, I mean, everyone has seen Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and the evil queen had a very specific agenda. She was vain. She wanted to kill Snow White because Snow White was prettier than her. On our show, it's much more complicated. She's been betrayed. And so when I focus on that pain and that betrayal, that humanized her. And that really helped in developing this character. It really helped me understand where this pain is coming from. And that's where I like to work from, the deeper levels. Because vanity is very superficial. It's very surfaced, but if you go deep into the pain of the character, that's relatable and that's the humanness that we can all understand.
So when did you get an inkling that you were not going to be, as this iconic character, you were not going to be put in a box and that she was going to be able to ebb and flow and become something else? And, so that's been really interesting.
Thank you for asking that.
Yeah, I think that just happened gradually. It was an evolution. It's still an evolution. I don't think a lot of us knew exactly what direction the characters were going right off the bat. But I knew from the pilot episode, just because I made some choices for the character, that she did lose a love. And when I spoke to Adam and Eddie about it, they said, "How did you know that?" And I said, "What do you mean?" That was just my choice as an actor, just to give to the character. And they said, "That's where we're going." She did lose a love. And I kind of instinctly knew this. And I guess I was meant to play her. Yeah, I mean, like I said, everything happens for a reason. So I was meant to play her.
So given that that happened in season 1, have they included you, the showrunners? Do you have conversations with the writers, or because you own the character now? I don't know. It's different in every show.
Well, it's shared.
Okay.
I don't. It's shared with the writers. It's
So
a
how much
collaboration.
conversation or talks is there where she's going to go and you get a little bit of input or not? Or
Sometimes, I think especially right now, because of where she's going.
Yes!
And there's two Reginas.
none of them are interested at all.
I know.
Where she's going. Yeah.
Who's excited to have two? It's like the best of both worlds, right? The hero lives and the evil queen lives.
Maybe, or you have to have seen it. Anyway, so I'm going to ask one more question and then start getting in line, okay, guys? 'Cause then I open it up to you. So I've been instructed on Twitter, which I know you're active on social media,
Yes.
to ask you about favorite scenes with Henry. If you could pick one or something in your storyline that sort of sticks out.
Yes. My favorite scene with Henry is in the second season.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
it's either the first or maybe the second or third episode, maybe the first. In the first 3 episodes, where she's standing, they're talking on the staircase in her house,
Yes.
and David comes by, and she tells Henry to go and stay with him. To go
Oh,
with him.
yeah!
That's when I realized that this woman was not so selfish. That
Exactly.
she was
Yeah!
really,
Yeah!
and she was really conflicted and was still growing and learning, but
Yes.
she knew that she had to send her son away in order for him to be safe so she can work on herself. And that to me was a very courageous decision for her to make.
Do you think that the fact that she's not one-dimensional and there's that is what makes her, has this sort of, response from the audience? Do you think that if she would have been just a one-dimensional sort of evil queen and stayed there, that, maybe this wouldn't happen?
I think I would be bored, and I think a lot of people would be bored. Yeah.
You suffer if you would.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get the great performance.
You
that
can't just
give.
play evil. It doesn't work. It's fun maybe for a movie. It's good for a movie, you can see it in 2 hours. But on television, there's no end to telling these stories unless the show gets canceled. So I had to really, stretch it out and make her multidimensional, really layered and very complex, not only for myself, but for the audience. It makes her much more interesting to watch.
So I promise. So first question from the audience, please.